feeling? Sorry, you guys ready?
Yep.
Like we always talk about avoiding the nagging injuries so they become bigger. How are you feeling physically going into this week?
Man, I feel great. I think I had another healthy training camp. Thank God, and just ready to get after it at this point.
What are the emotions like going into week one, kicking off the season?
Man, I feel like it's a lot of emotions because I feel like now you're transforming, and which I tell my family is zero dark 30 mode, and it's that thing where you're kind of a little bit more emotionless. You kind of always into your thoughts because the concentration, the level of dedication, determination it takes week in, week out to do what we do, and to study opponents and recovery and just kind of you want to be alone a lot of times during these times. So it's a different level of mindset, and so it's like you wind down.
You know, you don't go up against him per se, but you and Myles Garrett are considered among the best of your positions. Your thoughts about what you guys each have to do?
Yeah, I think this is it starts from week one. I know Myles is going to go out there and try to get on Guyton a little bit, but at the end of the day, I always love competition. So I felt that even when we played the Rams and Donald, I feel like if Donald had 2 sacks, I need 2 sacks. Just because it's just a competitive spirit. We kind of both know where we are. Garrett's one of my favorite rushers. Him and Max Crosby is kind of like my 2 guys that I be like just so freaking like gifted. But man, it's going to be exciting to play against them. This is my first time in Cleveland. Well, besides the draft. But just to be playing down there, to see their environment is going to be exciting.
Guyton talked about how his Myles' game. What do you appreciate about Myles' game?
Man, one thing I always love about a rusher is like, how do you rush? Even when your rushes aren't good or you feel like you're off your game. And he's one of the more relentless. Him and Myles are just relentless, man. They don't care where they at. Myles is like me, man. He has such a great acceleration, his power, strength, and length. Which makes him like exceptionally. It's like ridiculous. And I just think, man, outside of just a great football player, he's a great person. Every time I'm with him, I remember even when I went to Tokyo, he stayed in Tokyo, sent me just random. I get a text from Myles like, go to these restaurants. And, there's some really good restaurants too. So Myles Garrett, the person, is kind of like what sets him apart from everyone else.
Guyton talked about how his reps in camp, specifically the losses, really help him in getting ready for this challenge with Myles. And you've talked a lot about your leadership. Do you try and talk to him at all about a matchup like this?
Oh, of course. Guy knows I feel like, and I kind of tell him, like, man, if you feel like you can stay in front of me, you can stay in front of anyone. You're strong enough. It's just all about understanding technique, playing when you're tired, the mental side of it, staying tight with your technique and things like that. And, even told him, I was like, bro, you're so long and fast that switch it up, bro. I was like, bro, at this point, you got to realize it's a chess match. I was like, before you got to see things who was in front of me. He was like, but I saw you beat Tyron. I said, that's different. Tyron taught me how to beat him. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to teach you how to, slow me down at least, So it's all about the process, and he's going to continue, getting better. And I think this week's going to be a really good test for him.
Even without Nick Chubb playing, they obviously have weapons on offense, and they got a mobile quarterback in Deshaun Watson. How important is it to get off to a fast start to kind of quiet that crowd and start turning things in your favor?
Oh, man, it's going to be very important. Even without Nick, they got Ford, who's a really good back. Really anyone who steps in there really does a great job. And towards that back end, when Chubb went down, he didn't miss a step. So we got a great challenge for us. And then the receiving core drafted, trading for Judy and having more, man. It poses a great threat. So we got to really anchor down, stop this run, and kind of get after the quarterback a little bit.
Michael, what did you take from Coach McCarthy's rooted message?
I really liked it. He had carpet omnia this year, but I really like the rooted part because at the end of this thing, right, and you could mention, my journey, and then you can compare it to anything else. And it's funny, like we just talked about this. It's like who are you gonna become to, as you keep getting better. And it always brings me an analogy of it's the killer, the hitman, and the assassin. The killer, he's sloppy. He's probably going to get caught. He's not very good at what he does, but he's a killer. He's raw on the streets. Call it like that. And you got the hitman. The hitman might not get caught, but you know who did it. He's probably a little bit more clean. And the assassin, you don't even know he's there. You don't even know he done it. You know what I'm saying? So each time you really want to develop, and I think at this 4th year mark for me, I think I'm ready to be an assassin.
Tom Brady will be on the call. You've spoken this summer about multiple conversations with him. What advice has he given you, and has he spoken with you leading up to this game?
Yeah, I think Tom gave me the idea to just pick it up in practice and bringing that spirit and hold everyone accountable, even when things aren't looking good, and finally using my voice. He's like, out of all my years, when we won the Super Bowl, I know what it looked like. So, he was like, man, this is not how we practice. And he said that year in Tampa when they weren't winning, he was like, man, we got to get the F on. Like, he's like, come on, man. Like, this is how you do it. Like, this is how the discipline, the structure, the commitment, everything that it takes to dial in for these 6 months, that's the type of stuff that I'm looking for, man. And that's why I think for me, I got to bring more out of the guys. And I'm bringing my best self every day. And I'm pushing myself, trying to show a standard of play that we need to sustain and that we need to show week in and week out.
How much are you talked about being an assassin, you certainly talked about the motivation. How much are you motivated by not winning Player of the Year, not leading the league in sacks, things that you've rolled, and certainly not winning in the playoffs?
For me, I wouldn't say it's the war. I think it hurts more of my inner self of me being a competitor. It hurts me to know that someone has done better to me. It hurts me to know that someone's doing something that I know that I can attain, that I'm just not reaching. That means I'm not reaching my full purpose or potential. So to me, I get more hurt off that fact than the accolades, right? You think about the Bible, right? You talk about the fruits of your labor, right? And if you get so caught up on them fruits, those awards, those accolades, you get lost in it, right? You're always chasing something that does not mean anything, right? My Rookie of the Year church, I probably haven't took it out the box since they sent it to me in the mail, right? So you think about it, I think it's more me trying to be better than I was last year, me trying to be better each time, because that's the part that bothers me, because I know I can be the best. It's just about me doing it.
What's going to turn you into an assassin?
I think y'all about to see it. All jokes aside, I couldn't be more ready than to go out there on Sunday and play football.
How much does it help you getting Jordan Phillips, Linville Joseph, some more bigger bodies up front that you didn't really have for most of the offseason? What have you seen from them now, and how's that going to make your life easier?
I think just in all is going to make our life easier. Them getting that penetration, them forcing the quarterback to step back, just getting that knockback, that's going to be extremely important, especially on those early downs. That's where a lot of sacks come from, right, on first and second down. Third down sacks are common a little bit, but not too much, right? You catch them in the play action, you catch them off guard with them, you just get a beat on the snap, right? So that getting that early push, and those guys, those big monsters right there, I think that's going to be a great asset. And, it kind of shows you the type of guy Zim is, because I haven't seen this type of reconstruction in the D-line room since I've been here. So I don't know if it's Zim or, but he got it done.
What's Zim got planned for you in terms of how creative he'll be with your role?
I think on game day, I know y'all look at that PFF stuff, but y'all going to see I'm moving around a lot. Like, I don't think there is a side. I think I got my own personnels and stuff. It's going to be exciting, I'm going to say that. And I think I'll probably play every single person. And I think this is the first year where I could be in the 2-eye. I could be in the 3. I could be in the 4. It doesn't matter. Like, it could be a linebacker, be in the slot. I could almost be the safety if you look at it that way.
How many different positions do you think you'll play?
I don't know. He got the packaging, but, at the same time, it's all about calling a good game. If we're giving up a lot on first down, it's going to be hard to get in those packages. If we're giving up, and, they're winning in the marks of the field sticks, all that stuff matters. But if we do what we do, I think I could play a lot of different positions.
You had said back at
how many sacks do you need to get for you to be content with this season and feel like you've done enough?
Man, I would say it wouldn't be really about the number. It would probably be like, damn, this dude's really the best in the world. So, it's really not the number. It's really about just letting the world know, this dude's really the best.
Getting back to the assassin, you playing all the different positions, that allows you to be a silent killer, so to speak. You don't know where you're going to line up, and you're going to be comfortable anyway.
Yeah, and then, I feel like I could win against anybody, anywhere on the line. It really don't matter. When we talked to Jordan Phillips, I practiced it. I went out to the 4, then I went out to the 3, then I went into the 2-eye. I was like, bro, I practice how I'm going to play in this game. So, when I want to get away from something, I want to get into this, this is what I got to do. I got to practice at it. So, it's just about, like I said, I want to be the best for myself and this team and get to where we want to go.
You had said at minicamp, you said at minicamp that your vision and Mike Zimmer's vision for what you want to do we're likely going to be a little bit different. How much now going through training camp do you see that y'all's visions are potentially the same?
I think we're aligned. I think I just had to show Mike, what I'm capable of and what I can do. And everything that he thought I would be, I probably think I achieved that more. And, he come up to me, he's like, man, you say you want to do this, you say you want to do that. And he was like, man, if you just do this detail so you could be the best ever. And I think he just opened up to my idea how I see things, There's not too much more six tech for me. He was like, all right, we'll get you out there. I was like, I make a living getting people out in space, Mike. Like, I play six tech if you need me to on certain times, but he's like, don't worry, we got you. And, there's certain things that, I think it's just part of life that you evolve and we grow. And I think at being with him, I grew as a player. And definitely on the mental side, and he grew, into his players, and he adjusted me. So I think we evolved in a good way. Like, me and him about to meet again probably after lunch right here. So, it just goes to show our relationship and how we're getting closer and how the faith he has in me into the system.
Thanks, Mike.
Sure.